Alright, what is up guys? Ben from MTP Health here, the mobility specialist, and I just wanted to talk to you guys today about our Einstein moment for fitness. So stay tuned, you're going to have your mind absolutely blown. So what we see here is two simple equations that explain why all injuries occur. And not only that, but also why we get better and what training is actually about. Now these are two quite simplified equations that basically surmise all that we're trying to do as trainees, coaches, and individuals who are looking to get better every single day. And they rely on the specific adaptations to impose demands principle, which essentially means that we will adapt to whatever it is that we do. So this concept was actually popularized by Dr. Andrea Spina, the creator of the functional range conditioning system. And this is a system that we've incorporated heavily into MTP Health and everything that we do, and it's what the foundations of our mobility and strength training is based on. And if you've seen the training equals rehab continuum or looked at our movement hierarchy, you'll see how this idea is kind of infused into the way that we operate. And if you come to any of our classes, well, this underpins absolutely everything that we do. And I can tell you now, there's not many people who really incorporate this well, and I think it's one of the most tragically underdone things in the fitness industry. So if we look at kind of this E equals MC2, what I'm talking about here is it's just a simple equation that underpins all of fitness, really. If you want to understand fitness, think in terms of injury, think in terms of load, think in terms of capacity. We're always looking to create an adaptation. And so what we have is injury, and we've got this little sad face here because no one likes being injured. And if you have a look at any of our blog posts on that, I can guarantee you do not want to get injured. It is the worst thing that can possibly happen. I'm sure we all know that. So what we see here is that when injury occurs, all that has happened in the specific site where that injury has actually happened is simply the load has exceeded the capacity of that tissue. Now there's a number of factors that go into affecting the amount of load and the capacity of the tissue. And if your body isn't moving optimally, then more load is going to go into certain areas than is designed. The most common of this is any kind of low back injury or low back pain. You see, the low back is quite a mobile joint because what happens is our hips and our thoracic spine will lock up and lack mobility, and that will create extra stress in the lumbar spine and low back. And that's why a lot of people get low back injuries and a lot of soreness and pain in the low back because of the fact that, well, you're putting too much load through that specific area of the spine because it's more mobile than it should be in these instances where people do lack mobility. So what we have is injury occurring. Injury in this sense could be pain, or it could actually be a structural damage. And that is simply, as we said, when load exceeds capacity. But then what we have is the inverse of that, where we actually get an adaptation. And we've got this happy smiling face, because that's when someone gets stronger, they get more muscular, they get faster, they get better. And again, if we go back to the specific adaptations to impose demands principle, they're simply adapting to what it is that they do. And so what that means is that, well, you kind of got to get worse to get better. We break down our muscle tissue to grow them back. And so that's exactly what we're doing when we train. We're just simply lifting a weight, creating some kind of muscular damage in the system, and then causing that stress to impart on a recovery stimulus that needs to happen down the line. And so that's how we get an adaptation. And that's the exact opposite of an injury. Now, there's another really, really interesting quote that Dr. Andrea Spina talks about, and that's force is the language of cells. Now, essentially, if we relate that to these two, well, when we impart a force or a load onto a tissue, that's how our cells communicate. They don't have brains, they don't have an ability to kind of talk to one another. And what actually happens is it's simply just forces, whether it's at the micro or macro level. Forces can be measured in all different kinds of things, and that is how our tissues and cells talk to each other. That's how we communicate messages, and that's again what causes injury or adaptation. And it's as simple as that. So this is kind of like the crux of everything we're doing in fitness, and it's a key concept to understand. So, if you want to think as a summary, in terms of training, always think in terms of load and capacity. Where is that load being placed? How much load is being placed? And what is the capacity of your tissues to tolerate that load? And then if you think in terms of that, we can see, okay, what are the factors that are going into allowing me to be able to adapt? What are the factors that might be causing my injury? And, it's not quite this simple in actuality because there is a number of factors that go into it. But what I can guarantee you is that if you come to a place like MTP Health or go to a specialist, you will be able to identify more of those factors than just about everyone on the planet, because people are missing this all the time. How many people do you know that are injured? How many people walk around with pain? How many people do you know that you would honestly say have full mobility? I guarantee you could count them on one hand. And yet we kind of ignore this all the time. So this is what underpins fitness, and I guarantee you, if you've dropped this on someone at your local gym, their jaw will drop, because no one thinks in terms of this. It's a revolutionary idea, and I'm happy to share it with you guys today. So as always, keep moving, stay mobile, and live free. I'll catch you on the other side, guys. Cheers.